Welcome back. Albuquerque Journal Sports Live. It is 12:13 in the morning. Grammar. I am Sean Reider. This is Geoff Grammar. I probably should have started with that. We always do this show. One thing you can say, we keep coming back. Grammar, how are we doing tonight? What's going on?
Grammar time. All right, so
okay.
The UNM Lobos beat Nevada tonight, 24-22. University Stadium. It was homecoming. It was win number 4 for the Lobos. Quick bullet points are win number 4.
Win number 4. 2 games, 2 wins away from bowl eligibility for the first time since 2016.
First win in Mountain West play for Jason Eck.
As a Lobo, as
a Mountain West coach,
he is now 3-2 lifetime. I think 3-2.
Sure.
As a head coach,
he beat Nevada when he was at Idaho, and he also beat
Wyoming when he was at Nevada last season. So he's 2-0 entering this season. Obviously, they dropped the first 2, San Jose State and Boise State, but they got it 24-22. 24-22. Tonight against Nevada.
I will say this, and then I'm going to ask Sean to kind of give us the quick rundown of what was said and all that good stuff down in the locker room. This will be a show where obviously we will take all your questions like we always do, that kind of stuff. It was the kind of show where like the Lobos just won their 4th game in a season that nobody thought they'd get to 4. They've now hit the over. Vegas over under of 3.5.
Hit the over.
They won on homecoming. They are 2 games away from bowl eligibility with 5 games left. 2 games away from bowl eligibility with 5 games left. 3 of those games will be at home.
Yep.
They're in a very good position. All that good stuff, and they didn't look great. So look. There's still stuff to work on. They definitely have not hit their ceiling. So we'll have a lot to talk about. And the bottom line is like they're still getting it done. And now they're starting to win ugly and that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like good teams that go to bowl games win ugly a little bit, and that's what they did tonight. And it wasn't pretty, but it was a win. And we're still in no position covering the New Mexico Lobo football program to complain too much about ugly wins and how they win.
No, and this is a point I kind of made in the quick takes. Tonight, I will say, sometimes I'll write the quick takes and file them immediately after the game, and I don't like to change them a whole lot, and I rarely do after a press conference and all that, unless something it's like, okay, I didn't read that correctly. I feel like in some of the quick takes in the past, I've been a little too harsh or I've been a little too positive. I don't feel like I was too harsh tonight in a lot of respects. I don't know if people, Richie, I'm glad you were out here tonight. I'm happy to see that. That's good stuff. No, I didn't feel like I was too harsh because in a lot of respects, yeah, you hit it on the head. This was winning ugly, man. There was a lot of opportunities for UNM to kind of maybe not put the game away, but to get a comfortable lead. There were drives in the first and second half that didn't translate and all that. That probably should have been touchdowns and all that as well. There was a good deal of penalties that kind of held things up. And it just felt like Nevada was giving them opportunities in a lot of respects, and UNM wasn't always able to capitalize on it. But they got it done. I will say in the press conference tonight, I'll compare this to the Idaho State game, right? That wasn't the prettiest win by any stretch, but they got it done. That one was kind of a not weird, but it was a surprising vibe after in the press conference because Eck did say, look, there's stuff we got to clean up. But I think we were all watching that game in the press box and saying, like, oh, man, like, where's the team that showed out against Michigan? Where's the team that kind of made Michigan dig a little bit deeper, right? And Eck did not have that vibe at all. He's like, no, we were happy to get the win. Like, like it was good to be out there and like have like that character in the fourth quarter. This time around, he said, like, yes, like it's awesome to be in those situations. Those situations give your team character and you build character throughout that. You build character on that throughout the season. Yep. But he was way more of I don't want to say relieved because I don't think he really got to that, but he was far more to kind of shake the head and say, no, we got a lot to clean up. He even joked, he's like, somehow we're 3-0 in games where we muff a punt. They are 3-0 in games. He's like, so maybe we'll have to do that. But when I asked him about it, he did say, look, we might just have to let it bounce at this point. It feels like there are some things that it doesn't feel. There are absolutely things that UNM needs to clean up heading into a big one next week, which we can discuss a little bit later. But
yeah, that leads into Richie's comment here about I'm going to need special teams to work on them punt returns because I can only pull out so much hair.
Yeah, it's just it can't be at this point in the season. You need to pick a path and just kind of stick with it because that's one that X said you probably just need to fair catch that one.
Yeah.
Another weird deal, another weird stat. UNM did not punt once tonight. Oddly enough, and part of that was the fact that they were very aggressive on fourth down. X said a lot of the early aggressiveness was because they respected Nevada's defense. They thought it was a good unit and all that, and they wanted to be aggressive early to kind of make things work. And they did make some things work as well. I did ask him about oh my gosh, I think it was the 4th and 6, like near midfield and all that.
Yeah.
What level of these calls were kind of like analytics based, or were they kind of just gut feeling based? And he said it was a big mix of both. So I do want to follow up on that on Tuesday, but you're kind of screwing with the.
Yeah, I'm messing because I don't know what happened to this little color scheme over here, but that's not the right color scheme. And anyway.
Florida State falls 20-13 at Stanford. Are we going to have a cycle where where Florida and Florida State are open?
Yes.
This coaching carousel.
Hot take.
Just keeps getting. Right. I like the Dutch angle we have the field at right now too. I like the Dutch angle.
That's what I was going for.
Just wanted to brag to everybody. I know what a Dutch angle is.
To your point, yeah, you know what a Dutch angle is. I don't know what you're talking about. So good. Some sort of angle that isn't right, I suppose.
An angle of the Dutch variety.
Okay.
You ever see Battlefield Earth?
Yes.
A lot of those in there.
So X response after the FCS win over Idaho State being like, oh, we're just happy we won. That was early in the season when I don't know. I mean, in an honest moment, I don't know that he, even as the head coach or anybody really knew what they were at that point.
Yeah.
At this point,
it was also his first win here. Like
win.
That probably overshadows a lot of things.
Tonight, though, like you're starting to think like, okay, we think this Mountain West, like we think bowl eligibility is doable. We think this Mountain West has some wins in front of it. I don't think they were. It doesn't mean that they overlooked Nevada. I think they respected Nevada, but I think they looked at Nevada and said, we're a better team than that. And I think it's safe to say that the fact that they were they closed as a 2-touchdown favorite at some places, 13.5 to 14.5. They closed as a 2-touchdown favorite and won by 2. It wasn't just some people here in Albuquerque that maybe thought this game should have been better and that they were a better team than Nevada. Props to Nevada for taking advantage of the miscues that UNM had and made a game out of this. And yeah, they could have marched down the field and got into field goal range and won this game by 1 point with the field goal late. Didn't happen because New Mexico got off the field finally when they needed to on a third down or fourth down. So anyway, win's a win. And I will say that getting Scott Trey Humphrey seemed to be an emphasis, getting him going seemed to be an emphasis early. And I don't know that they.
I did on the Scott Trey note. I did ask.
They didn't look like they opened up the playbook tonight.
No, I did ask. Look, Was that something you kind of went into this game saying, look, we want to feed Scott Trey, we want to make sure we get him carries, we want to get him out there first and do that? And Eck didn't really indicate that. He said, no, he had the hot hand. Oddly enough, the Lobos' leading rusher tonight was none other than Jack Lane, 71 yards, 8 carries. Now, a lot of that was on a 54-yard run. He just pulled on the option there. Eck, on the
you want to move the chain, you go to Jack Lane.
Wow. How long have you had that one?
I've been going with tonight. I just came up with it tonight.
It did the vibe that I got in terms of Eck talking about it. It did seem like there was, compared to last week.
Yeah,
it did seem like there was much more of a balance of Jack taking things. Seeing like running the ball when the opportunity is there. It did seem like way
just had
more of a balance.
Right? That was one of the big criticisms.
There was nobody on him on that 54-yarder. It seems like whatever coaching, whatever you saw in film and all that, like that showed out tonight in that regard.
No, I agree. I think that the easy takeaway going into tonight was that Jack was the throwing quarterback and Lobstein was the running quarterback. And tonight, Jack looked like he could run a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. And G Wade's got a comment here. G Wade was in the house tonight. Shout out G Wade. I think winning in this fashion leading into the big game next week will do more for us than blowing out Nevada.
That might not be a bad take there. I mean, that might be. Yeah.
I don't think it is, and I may or may not have a follow-up kind of planned around that idea. No, yeah.
We call that a tease in the business.
It was something I asked some of the guys tonight because we talked to Jason Ack, Mercury Swam, and DJ McKinney. And it was something I kind of, you won this game kind of like not in the prettiest fashion, but in a more gritty fashion. All that. Is that something you guys are like really kind of emphasizing and priding yourself on? And Mercury was like, yeah, like we absolutely do. Like not a lot of teams are working out in the weather that we work out in the summer and all that and doing the things that we kind of do. So it seems like, yeah, like there is an element there where like this is clearly the formula for UNM to win. Like in a lot of respects, like 22 passing attempts to 42 rushing attempts and all that, and just kind of they didn't really get to a point where they were bullying Nevada in the run game, but they were making things happen. I think that was a big positive. That I think if they didn't run the ball against Nevada, then we were going to have some pretty this is going to be a pretty down post game show in a lot of respects. I don't think they would have gotten away with the result that they did tonight.
That's correct.
Pretty or not, but no, that is the formula, and this is to me very much as a team they're comfortable winning ugly right now with what they have. Because look, you look at the stat sheet. Only 5 different pass catchers. Only 4 different pass catchers. One of them was James Lobstein with 1 reception on that trick play on that end of the field. 1 was a running back. 1 was a tight end. So just 1 receiver, Keegan Johnson, with 5 catches for 26 yards. And I kind of hinted at it, this week in the idea that UNM hasn't been awesome about getting separation and man coverage in particular. And I don't think, and he said, I don't know if you can kind of fix that at this point in the season. I think we're kind of getting to that point, frankly. And, this team's going to need the defense, which did some nice things tonight. And the run game, which obviously came back tonight to really anchor it down the stretch. And I could see a world where that gets them on schedule and keeps them going. And I could see a world where maybe they drop a game that they really needed to have with that formula. So
I'm over here trying to get these stats on.
What other stats really catch my eye? Oh, the penalties tonight. UNM had 8 penalties for 64 yards. Nevada had 9 penalties for 61 yards. Eck did say something interesting. Jack Foster plays on the offensive line for Nevada, but he used to play under Eck at Idaho and all that. Mm-hmm. And Eck believed that he said that I think Foster kind of told us about our snap count. It told Nevada about UNM snap count and what they like to do. So they went to more of a silent count tonight. And
interesting.
And that they were able to get Nevada on some of those and all that. He did feel UNM. I'll look at the penalty split up right now. There it is. They had 8 penalties, only 1 defensive penalty. That was a pass interference on Caleb Coleman. The rest were 7 offensive penalties, 49 yards. And I just totally lost it on my screen. That's phenomenal. All of them were holdings of false starts. X said we need to clean some things up in terms of technique with the offensive line. He seemed like he had a pretty good relatively good feeling about the offensive line as they reshuffled it. I'm curious to see the snap counts in this because I know some guys are rotating in and out. I think Isaiah Solomon had a personal foul that wasn't on here, but it was offset, so it's not going to be listed on here. But
I don't remember that.
I think he did.
Okay,
it was. I think, but I think it's not showing because it was offset. So,
well, I got some stats up there on the screen now. I'm going to start going through some of your guys' comments here. I do want to say this about tonight's game as well. Like in the first half, when you're up 14-12 in the first half and or at halftime, in a half that you felt, or to me, I felt like UNM was clearly the better team. And they had the muff punt. They had that other fumble.
Like Demond Banks. Eck on that note said, he's like, we need to do a better job coaching of just saying to guys, we just need to get into the half here. Like we don't need to be doing that much more. We just need to get into the half. And obviously they didn't do that. And there was a good force fumble by EJ Smith. But they got burned on that. All
right. So tonight, a couple other notes that are notable. Game 7, they scored on the opening drive for the first time all season. They were 0-6 on their opening drive scores.
I said 17 plays for 65 yards, and like that opening 75 yards. 16 plays for 75 yards. No, it was 17 plays. 17
plays.
And Eck immediately was just like, awesome.
Yeah.
And he said
he's an O-line coach.
And he made a good point. That's 17 plays, but those are plays like without penalties and all that. They really ran more than like 20. And he's like, so like we were kind of gassed at the end of that one because like they ran a ton of plays. But
Nevada was more gassed.
And he described it as a death march.
It was the longest drive of the season in terms of number of plays. It was the 3rd longest drive in terms of clock, and that was 7:49, I believe, is what it was.
What was the longest in terms of clock? Do you know?
Yeah, 8:30 against Michigan. Looked it up during the game. You all right?
Yeah. All right.
So let's get to some of these. Let's get to some of these comments here.
We're gonna get out of here at 1 a.m. This is kooky, dude.
All right. Colorado via New Mexico. Aggressive is one thing, but going for it on fourth.
And
yeah, it's something looks like the graph or the text messed up there is reckless.
I didn't like that call, and I asked about it, and I don't think Eck loved how it ended up. I need to look at what he actually said. I don't feel great paraphrasing him here, but I don't think that was the move.
All right, we got Isaiah asking, do we like the light show? I thought it was pretty cool.
They did a good job. That was kind of cool. And you made the point in the press box. It looks like there's a lot more people here with the lights.
Yes, the light show made the stadium. Again, for those that don't know, from the press box view, we see the east stands that are the far more empty stands. The west stands, where the press box is, we can't really look down and see them. It was far more full on this side, to be fair. Announced attendance. We do have somebody asking here. By the way, G Wade agrees that it was a great or super cool.
G Wade.
And
G Wade was at the game and he's in the show right now. That's we appreciate that.
Yes,
I appreciate that, man.
What was the attendance? The announced attendance was 18,233.
To which Eck gave us a pretty good quote. He was asked generally just about the attendance, and he said, "We don't have a sponsor, so I don't feel bad." He said, "You get what you deserve for playing shitty on the road."
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, and so he didn't seem particularly surprised by that. He said it was, but he didn't know it was better than the Idaho State game. And he said it's on UNM to kind of get a better product and all that.
Well, so and for the most part, I think people kind of took what I wrote in today's journal, for what it was, which is like in the article and the way I tweeted it out. It wasn't the headline that was used on the story online, but and now for the hard part. It was hard to sell this place out a few weeks ago for the New Mexico State game. It was hard to have a 3-3 first half of the season. All that's wonderful. That's great. But the hardest part of New Mexico football taking the step to the next level is they've had one game in the past decade post-September when the NMSU game is, or you get some good vibes early in the season sometimes, all that kind of stuff. Put all that aside. October and November, they've had one game in the past decade of 20,000 fans. And it was like 20,090, I think. And it was Boise State that came to town.
Shout out to the 91.
And it was also a year that the Lobos were a bowl team. They were really good. And they've had it once. So the hard part to get this program going is to sustain crowds like 18,000 tonight announced. But by the way, there's some Utah State fans always seem to get kind of they seem sensitive about it sometimes. But anyway, tonight
they really like to prod, and I don't know if they're always in the best position to prod.
Well, so the funny thing is,
I don't want to generalize. There's a couple guys.
There are every fan base has them. So a couple of them though do pointed out when I tweeted that the announced attendance was 18,233 or whatever it was. So someone was like, "Out is the battle horn guy or the battle cattle guy." Was like
war cow.
He's like, "Oh, ouch," or something like that. Well, just to be clear, 18,233 is more than Utah State is averaging this year. And when I pointed that out, someone's like, "Yeah, but look at the attendance or the population." Look, New York City doesn't have the best college football attendance in the country. And if you want to be a power conference, you don't complain about the population in your city. It's not an excuse. If you think the Pac-12 is going to be a light years ahead of what the Mountain West is going to be, and it will be a better conference, but it won't be that much better if you're already making excuses before you've left the Mountain West for having too little of attendance. Maybe the two conferences aren't really all that different. And anyway, that's a whole nother show.
It's Twitter banner. It lives on a week-to-week basis. The Mav looked awesome last night in that San Jose State game. That looked like a really good vibe.
It was loud. You can tell.
And UNM did not. The crowd tonight. I think that's moments where they got loud, but it didn't look as good as the Mavs. So it's a week-to-week thing. It's Twitter banner.
But 37,000 looked pretty good a few weeks ago. Here.
It did, but it's a week-to-week.
Did we actually get that fourth and short?
Yeah.
No idea.
I think, I thought they did.
I don't know. You thought they didn't?
I thought they did.
You thought they did?
The last one of Scottrade?
Yeah. I assume that's what
I thought they got that. Also, I got to look at the replay on this one. Eck questioned whether Drzwicki actually missed that field goal.
There's a comment on X replying to me. I took a picture of the broadcast team. pointing out that he was one of 7 FBS kickers who hadn't missed a field goal or an extra point this season as he was missing it. And so I took that. They did the broadcaster's jinx.
I had the
similar
jinx.
to your jinx as well.
I had the jinx too.
I had the jinx first.
Apologies to Luke. He's a Michigan guy. I hate to do that to a fellow Michigan guy. Drink. I'll take a long sip
some
of
more
that.
Mountain Dew.
Grammer's been crushing Mountain Dews tonight, dude.
I don't even know why.
He was like 3 in. He's like, I don't even like Mountain Dew that much. Like he's crushing Dews. It's like a 7th grade sleepover, man. Just like
I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Just crushing Dews. All right, we gotta.
So, there are people that are questioning whether or not that field goal was a miss or not.
Yeah,
Jason
I gotta look at it.
Don't know what to tell you. They won. Unrelated, but it is a question in there. Richard is asking who's going to be on the next podcast.
The Ag Ship guys for me.
Ag Ship guy for Sean. For me, I don't have a guest lined up yet until I guess media day. I did see Navarez, who was at the game tonight.
You were chatting up in the back for a little bit.
Yeah,
you were talking
Gloria
shop.
quite a bit. Talked with Gloria quite a bit. I'm going to have a podcast with her later
She's
this
like,
week.
why are you drinking so many Mountain Dews?
I was like, Gloria, hey, what's up? You want to talk shop? And you want to be on the show later? Anyway,
Is she coming on the show? Are you gonna? Is she coming on?
no,
Yeah.
not to my knowledge. So anyway, she was here. The point being, for the podcast, yeah. I don't know, man. I won't sidetrack things here too much, but I asked for another Lobo basketball player, and I guess I'm not getting one because here it is Sunday morning, and I still haven't been told that I'm getting one. So, and I've been asking all week. So I don't know, man. The past 2 podcasts with Lobo basketball players went great. I don't know entirely why I don't have one lined up yet for the next show.
They saw you slugging Dews tonight, and they're like, we don't want this.
Yeah, right.
Can they still get 6-7 games to the schedule they have left? Yes,
I think so.
I think they can, and I think G Wade I think made a good point, right? Like nights like tonight, like weren't pretty, but getting it done in this environment with kind of the stretch that getting it done at home in this fashion, I think is something that should give them confidence. They still have a lot that they need to clean up, and I think I don't know if we're going to see. Maybe I'm speaking too prematurely. Do you think we'll see another game like we saw passing wise in like the New Mexico State game where Jack Lane was phenomenal, ultra efficient? Do you think we'll see another one of those?
Yeah, I do.
I was about to say that. I don't know if we will.
I think there'll be another.
But I think there probably will be another one.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the UNLV's still on the schedule. Their defense isn't stopping anybody.
I'm excited to go for these Mountain West scores later.
Royce is saying, "Let's go Lobos. A win's a win."
Would Bronco have lost this game?
I don't know. I mean, Nevada's struggling. That was the nice way to put it. So, I don't think Bronco would have lost this game. I have no reason to think Bronco would have lost this game.
I don't know if. Well, you know what? I was going to say. I was going to say
he was a bad late game coach, or
I was going to say the Bronco defense probably wouldn't have done some of the things that they did, but they ended up doing some nice things against Washington State and San Diego State last year in kind of pivotal spots. So, I don't know.
Stephen Lujan is saying, I'm still 60-40 convinced that his kick,
Drizwicki,
that he made that missed field goal. So you're not alone, man. Like there are people questioning that. That field goal, though, still would have put him up 5.
Yep.
So still would have been a possible go down and score kind of opportunity for them. But
can you imagine we would have had overtime if Nevada would have got that 2-point conversion early off the first TD?
Yes,
we would have had overtime in this game.
That would have been fun.
Oh God!
All right, so we got a recruitment Robin on X, AR recruitment Robin on the X. Hello, what do you think about Malik Aliani? Malik
Lane. That's how I say it.
All right. Being moved to guard and his performance. What do you think? Yeah,
well, he's more of a natural guard than tackle. But UNM, the offensive line, they do like stress more than any other staff that I've covered position flexibility on the offensive line.
Well, like Eric Olin's offense, you got a positionless basketball.
Positionless offensive line. I would call it a positionless offensive line. But they do stress positional flexibility, and he in the past he has played more at guard than he has at tackle this season. I know he had a holding or two called on him. I don't have the greatest feel for command of his performance without actually going back and watching it, but I thought they did some solid. I thought they did some okay things in the offensive line tonight. Obviously, like the rushing performance, paving that, pretty good stuff. And I honestly, I should probably say more than okay, because one of the keys that I had to this game was containing guys like Dylan LaBarbera and Jacob Maldonado. And LaBarbera leads the nation in tackles for loss, and he didn't have a single one tonight. I thought he was active in the run game, but I thought they did a pretty good job keeping him in check, because he's a guy, when he gets going, he really gets going, man. He will dominate a series. And outside of some stuff coming in the run game and all that, really didn't pop off like that. And then Maldonado, I think, had like half a sack or something like that. I think there were some lapses in protection too, but I don't know. Malik and the line overall, I didn't think that there was anything there where I'm like, this is really concerning. I didn't, but I'm also not sitting here and saying like that was the best game they played all season. So somewhere in the middle.
Hey, what's up,
everybody? Welcome back to the Albuquerque Journal Live, Sports Live, sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Steven thought the O-line was solid.
Yeah, I think with the position shuffling in mind too, because that's not an easy place to be, right? I mean, you're losing a team captain in Pierce, right? A guy that's a vocal leader in the locker room, is a warhorse, plays a crap ton of snaps. I almost said something completely different there. So yeah, I think overall it went well.
This team is so frustrating. How can they play so disciplined and focused against Michigan and UCLA, but so uninspiring versus Mountain West teams? I'll say two things. The Michigan one was still a great performance. UCLA was an absolute train wreck at that moment, and
so bad.
Yeah.
Tim Skipper might get this UCLA job, and I would not like. I know that's what they did the last time with Foster and all that when they were put in the spot by Kelly leaving, but he might get this job, man, and I would not bat an eye.
All right. Well, Sean will not bat an eye if Tim Skipper gets his job.
Yeah, and
so to your question though, like I mean, it was fool's gold to think that them having 3 penalties over the first 2 games, and even just was a total of 7 through the first 3 games. It was ridiculous to think that's what they were going to do all year. Now they're not going to lead the nation in penalties by any stretch, like they did the last couple of years. But the reality is it is a team that was almost a complete roster turnover, or certainly a majority of the roster turnover. Like those kind of things, when injuries start piling up and guys are playing different positions, and just when you have to think a little bit instead of react, like sometimes you start kind of having some penalties, some false starts, some when you're thinking too much and not just kind of going through the reaction because you've had so many reps at that position.
Yeah. I think
they're going to have more penalties. This is a team that's probably going to average 6 penalties a game or so the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think this O-line, like this iteration tonight, probably has better chemistry than we give it credit for, in the sense that like Jamar Tassi is like, no, like I mean, like me and like Tyler played together like a bunch in the past and all that as well. Like, and I believe Caden. I think he's a Washington kid too, and I don't remember if they went to the same high school, but there's a little bit more chemistry, I think, than this offensive line's getting credit for. But in terms of like how disciplined and focused, like I don't know, that UCLA, you're dead on when you said that was an absolute train wreck of a team, maybe the most uninspired football team I've ever covered in my time here. So yeah, I don't know, but like I think in terms of like why they weren't doing well in Mountain West play and all that, they weren't running the ball successfully.
Yeah.
And they were turning the ball over a ton. Somehow they are, it seems like 3 turnovers is like the number, like for them. If they hit 3 turnovers, like things are all going to go to hell, but they only had 2 turnovers tonight.
Only had 2.
And if they are 2 or fewer, they are undefeated in those games. So
Lobos got 7 in them.
They're gonna have to shock somebody, in my opinion. I think they're gonna have to shock a UNLV or San Diego State in the season finale. I think they're gonna have to shock somebody to get to that point.
So to be clear, we'll run down the rest of their schedule.
And I think they can. Like,
yeah, so their home games left. We've done this before, but let's do it again.
Run through it.
New Mexico, their remaining schedule looks a little something like this. Hit it. All right. Okay. So next week, versus Utah State. Then they're at UNLV. Then it's versus Colorado State here in Albuquerque. Then it's at Air Force, and then it's versus San Diego State. If I'm ranking the remaining 5 in terms of most winnable to least winnable, I think the most winnable game for them remaining is got to be versus Colorado State here in Albuquerque, and then at Air Force.
I disagree.
And well, I'm telling you, the Air Force is pretty tough too, by the way.
I think the Air Force game is like tougher than we give it credit for.
Okay, well, what game's more winnable? Is it the versus Utah State or the at UNLV and versus San Diego State?
Maybe Utah State. Yeah.
You think that's more than at Air Force?
Yeah, and then I would put Air Force at like third, right behind that. That's what I would do. I am. Look, I love the troops. Like, I am backing the troops on this one. Like, I like.
This isn't a love it or leave it thing, man.
I liked what I saw out of them. Out of them today too. So.
Okay, I'll tell you this right now that the two games at the look, there are 5 games left. The 2 games that I think it's safe to say, okay, it's not unwinnable, but at UNLV and versus San Diego State right now, I wouldn't say they're going to win either one of those.
No, and I'm again like
because those are both 2 10-point losses.
I'm curious. You think both are 2 10-point losses?
Yeah, I think both of those are going to be double-digit losses.
I agree with that. I think that's fair to pencil in. Right now, we'll see.
So that leaves you got to get 2 of these 3 games: versus Utah State, versus Colorado State, at Air Force.
What's more gettable, UNLV or San Diego State?
UNLV, I think.
Yeah, I think pretty clearly after. Man, they got a 50 burger hung in them today, man. Like
they got a 50 burger hung on them last week. That was 49, but that's pretty much a 50 burger.
Should have been a 50 burger with the missed field goal at the end. Yeah. Dan Mullen not interested in Arkansas, by the way.
Ooh,
no.
So there's a UNLV guy giving Cofield, one of the radio guys in Las Vegas.
Cofield's awesome. Good dude.
Yeah, Steve Cofield's a good guy and he works does broadcasts, sideline broadcast for basketball and football for UNLV broadcast. Anyway, some guy on Twitter was giving him, or on X is giving him a hard time, saying this was a fraudulent 6-0 UNLV team anyway. And like Jesus, like UNLV just a few years ago was what UNM football is. Is like you would love to go to bowl games.
Yeah.
And now you have fans, UNLV fans, complaining about being a fraudulent 6-0. You know how many people would love to be a fraudulent 6-0? If that's a fraudulent bowl eligible team.
I'm a man of integrity. I wouldn't want to be a fraudulent 6-0. I'd rather be a righteous 0-6, like my Oregon State Beavers. When they're 0-7 or 0-8. Like,
did they lose today?
Wait, no, I don't know if they lost to Lafayette. Hold on.
This is good. So Oregon State,
they won 45-13. They are 1-7. The Beavs.
Just to be clear, Oregon State was down 13-10 at halftime to FCS Lafayette.
The Lafayette Leopards.
But they ended up 35-0 second half. But little boat race.
I don't know who the interim is there after they got rid of Bray.
We should probably sidetrack the rest of the show for that.
You're darn right. Welcome back to the Oregon State Football Hour.
Is Bankston going to play next week?
I did not ask about Bankston in particular. So
he returned.
Yeah, that's more of that was McKinney, I thought, the one who went down. McKinney, and then he bounced back.
I mean, yeah, but you're right.
Yeah. McKinney talked to us after, and McKinney was fine. And he was back in the game after that. So, McKinney also is a funny thing that you probably won't see if you watch the press conference, and I probably won't write about. DJ McKinney had not gotten his media training from UNM until right before he was scheduled to speak tonight. So there was
they're walking from the locker room to the press room.
Literally, there was a 5-minute gap, and then Frank Mercogliano, the sports information director for the program, walked in and said, "Yeah, so we just gave DJ his media training." DJ was he was fun. First podium appearance for him. So yeah, he was pretty good.
Bankston fumble and points before the half completely swung the game and momentum. And
Eck admitted that. He 100% admitted that there, man. He's because he said that absolutely swung it. And Nevada, the first drive out in the second half, that was the 4th and 1 they failed on, correct? Am I misremembering? Yeah. And then UNM capitalized on that.
Yep.
Got the short field score there and all that. That honestly, that was pretty big, man. They really needed. If they didn't take care of business there, they would have settled for a field goal. That was going to be a problem. But they punched it in.
Stephen Harris is asking, do you guys think Eck will have his name thrown into the coaching carousel if we win more?
I think his name's already in the carousel, man. Yeah. I think his name is absolutely already in the carousel, and I think that's part of a byproduct. So many things are open right now.
Yeah.
So many jobs are open, and more are going to open.
It is worth noting that look, they just struggled to beat the last place team in the Mountain West. He's already hit the over at a program that was supposed to be like Nevada, the worst team in the Mountain West. Clearly, New Mexico is not. He's done some good things. He hasn't quite just run away with things to the point where, he is going to land that next big job. And he does have a $4 million this year. Let's not forget that.
He's not like John Summerall at Troy or like Kurt Signetti level. We're kind of running away with things and all that. Right. But I think there is an appreciation.
His name's going to be in the mix.
I think it's part of that is his personality.
Yeah, and he's got a national presence already too. Like
exactly,
national writers and national broadcasters know who Jason Eck is.
Yeah,
and they can't name the level of national writer that can't name more than maybe half the FBS head coaches. I think Jason Eck is on the list where like those national writers that are about the 50% range, like they still know Jason Eck. Like he has some cachet nationally, and I think he will be on the radar every year he's here.
And I think there is UNM is doing like some good things to get the football program in the spot where it is in terms of like making sure that they can have the sellout and things happen there and all that. Like we want to acknowledge that it's not what it was, maybe kind of pre-Eddie and stuff like that, and the Davie area and all that. Like things have definitely improved. I do think there is among college administrators an appreciation for, hey, this guy went to a bowl in New Mexico in his first year. Like there's going to like that's not easy to do. Like, and I think that's something that people will look at and point to and say, hey, we could maybe use some of that. So
those watching on TV said that the Bankston fumble was a bad call.
I didn't think it was a great call, but I was a little surprised it got upheld that quick.
Yeah,
but
I think it kind of came down to one of those, was there enough to overturn it?
Mm-hmm.
What the call on the field is what they were going to keep it as. Joshua Bates is asking thoughts on Jack's recent struggles.
I thought he did a good job.
14-22 is not a great percentage kind of game and all that.
He was more efficient earlier in the game and all that too.
Yeah.
I do think, you're right. I mean, the playbook wasn't kind of open all the way that it was, but I think part of it too is that right now, frankly, they have one receiver that they can really count on in terms of true wide receiver, and that's Keegan Johnson. And I think defenses are aware of that. They're keying on it. No catches for Sean Miller tonight.
Well, let's just talk about a couple things we were talking about after last week's loss to Boise State.
Yeah.
What we were talking about in Tuesday's weekly show. It was, look, Jack's been struggling. Jack maybe is holding the ball too long. He's not running. He's not tucking it and running when the opportunity's there. He led the team in rushing tonight.
Yeah, he took care of business there when he needed to do that.
And even if you take away the 54-yard run, he still had 20 more yards rushing. So like he did one of the things that we talked about. He had been struggling with. We talked about Scottre. Like, where is he? You wrote about it this week. Like, where's this workload for Scottre Humphrey? Like, what's it gonna like? What's happening? I mean, Bankston's the clear number one. Well, we knew that at some point Scottre was going to have to be used, and he got 13 carries to Bankston 6.
Mm-hmm.
McKinney had 8, but yeah, 13 carries, 58 yards for Scottre tonight. Not bad. Got in the end zone once. Long at 23. So the things we talked about this week, New Mexico did address. Now, what we didn't talk about, maybe we should, and see if they address this, is maybe they shouldn't field punts anymore.
Yeah,
maybe they should just let it bounce, let it roll.
Eck admitted that might be something they look at going forward. I did ask him, like, do you think about making it like a change and all that? Like, because I don't think that was a coaching point there.
No.
That was a coaching issue. I think he's been coached on that. You just got to fair catch that one.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say one more thing that I want to kind of put a bow on. My favorite phrase
on Jack.
Put a bow on the Jack's recent struggles. I don't think he lit it up tonight, but I think tonight what he did was he certainly bought himself another week of. Like, no, you're not making a change at quarterback right now.
And it's something we did not talk to Jack this week. We did not talk to Jack this week. I want to talk to Jack. He'll be available this week and all that. I'm still planning on writing a separate story in terms of talking to Jack and just like, where are you right now? Like, I mean, like, what did you kind of take away from your performance and all that, against, the last 3 games and all that really. And, what were you kind of seeing tonight and all that? Because Jack is a guy that does believe in, you said multiple times, just take him what the defense gives you and all that.
Yep.
And obviously did that, running it tonight. But you're right. He did not light it up, particularly in the passing game. Wait, he had a 64% completion percentage?
Yeah, 64.
Which
rating of 116 is still okay, but
I think that I don't really care about the rating. I think that the completion percentage, like that efficiency, I think that if Jack's not above 60, then there's some issues there. So if he's above that, then that's pretty good.
John is in asking, do we agree the Lobos take far too many unnecessary risks?
They probably take one more than they really need to, but it's part of Eck, though. I think the aggressiveness, it's kind of, you live and die by it, man. And when it works, it works.
He's mentioned this in multiple pressers, multiple Tuesday pressers. We like giving the other team a little more to work on.
Yep.
We're then just focusing on one, we're not an option team where they just focus on the option all week when they prepare for us. We like giving them wrinkles. We like doing things that make them have to spend 5 minutes of their practice working on this one play they saw, this one trick play that they saw. Now, by this point, we're game 7, and we've probably seen 10 different trick plays from them this year.
And some of the trick plays themselves have been like spots that I haven't liked them calling. I didn't love the Lobos team one tonight, frankly, but that ended up working out.
But my point is, part of the effect of those trick plays, you're going into week 8, and if teams have 10 trick plays that they've seen on film this year that they got to be ready for, you guys got to be ready for this one and this one and this one. Those 10 trick plays are taking up a half hour to an hour of prep time this week.
Yeah,
that starts to add up. And Eck loves that part of it. He's mentioned that so many times that I know part of what he likes with his trick plays is just that it makes other teams think.
Well, yeah, and he kind of talked about it on the other side too this week with Nevada head coach Geoff. He's they do so many different things on with punts and all that if anything, we just have to kind of see through it and say, look, we just need the base rules. We don't need to devote that much time to covering every single punt look because we're going to see a totally different look than the one we're expecting. So I think there's an element where he wants to do that. And I think he's wise enough to see through it on some ends when it comes to what other teams are doing and trying to put them in that spot. I think he understands that pretty well.
One other thing I'll kind of say to answer your question, John, is does he take far too many unnecessary risks? We are talking about this offense being rather conservative right now and not really being able to break a whole big plays. They're not throwing downfield a whole lot. We're not having a whole lot of running backs break big plays. Jack Lane's run, I don't think will become the norm of 54 yards. So sometimes you need those trick plays to get a big play. You're not going to have 17 play drives like they did to open the game tonight very often.
You're not going to
have
death marches start.
All right, we got Fly to Sky 505. It was great to see Jack Lane running the ball. That created an extra threat and kept the offense on the field a couple of times.
It did, yeah. He had one third down conversion comes to mind by him, picking that one up there. And that was a pretty big one.
You go to Jack Lane.
You are so right. We've been saying it for weeks now. Yeah, look, I think that was a nice. I thought Nevada's 4 from 1.
Okay, I thought we were going back to this comment.
No,
okay.
we're staying fluid. I thought Nevada's 4 from 1 conversion was a horrible spot, and he didn't get it. I'm assuming the second one in the second half.
Yeah,
I'm assuming the one at midfield.
Yeah, so the one they didn't get early, I couldn't believe they even went for it at the 30.
I kind of I respected it, but I don't think it was a great call. And I think Choate's getting some flack for that on social media from what I'm seeing in terms of the Nevada fan base.
On social media, they're giving him flack?
I know. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Not on my social media.
I want to say this too. I thought UNM did a good job containing Carter Jones in the running game for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a pretty good job corralling him on that. I get why Nevada's kind of resetting the clock a little bit, and look, I think there was a world where they wanted to kind of contend for a bowl, but they needed Chuba Purdy to play really well to kind of get to that point. I get if Carter Jones develops the way he should over the second half of the season for Nevada and all that, I think Nevada's going to be pretty decent this year. I liked a lot of what I saw from Carter Jones. UNM, Ack kind of said. There were points where they had to start playing more man coverage because he was finding some, holes and zones and all that as well. His release is so quick.
How about Purdy getting 2 catches?
I know. How about Purdy throwing blocks, dude? He was ripping them off.
Pretty good.
Yeah. No. So I want to give some credit to some Carter Jones, man. I thought he had pretty efficient tonight.
Agreed.
202 yards. He was 23 of 29.
Yeah. And let's not forget, Nevada has shown glimpses. I mean, they had a hell of a comeback.
The Fresno State game, I thought he played awesome, just getting thrown in the fire.
Yeah, they've had glimpses, but this is,
and they've taken a lot of games into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it is the worst team in the league right now, but they've showed glimpses. John Romero on YouTube is saying, hate to be negative, but the Lobos won by whiskers to one of the worst D1 teams in the land. Regression is the magic word.
I'm seeing the word regression a lot from not only John.
I don't know about regression.
I don't agree there.
I don't think there was a realistic recalibration of a whole lot of Lobo fans with this Lobo team. This is still a team who has a first-year coach, a roster turnover. They lost to Minden by 17. They beat a train wreck of a UCLA team. They struggled to beat an FCS team. They beat a New Mexico State team that does have 4 wins. That was actually is the New Mexico State win their best win?
Oh, they should have wait, no, they're 3-3. They should have beaten Liberty.
Oh yeah, because
to go to 4-2.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. They didn't beat Liberty.
the classic
I remember
Aggie making things up, switching results up in his head.
Aggies,
Hawk
Aggies.
did make that field goal. Was that 47-yarder?
Don't do this.
No, I like regress from like from like the UCLA game. But
UCLA in that moment, huge win for for UNM. You win in the Rose Bowl, you play it up. This program has shown great like strides in year one. But anybody who thinks that like them having a tough win at home and being 4 wins through 7 games is a regression already, like, man, I've seen that on social media too, and like saying they're frustrating, saying there's a regression. They didn't play great tonight and they won. Like, okay,
but they didn't play great tonight, but they played better in some respects than they have the last couple. Frankly, I noted this in the quick takes too. Like, I was harsh on some things in terms of how UNM played and all that, but if anything, again, if we go back to the start of the season and we're picking what games will UNM win, what games will UNM lose in its first 6 games, 7 games this season, they're still basically ahead of schedule, frankly.
Yeah,
I think most people put them
ahead of schedule.
They put them at 3 and 4, frankly. They're still basically ahead.
So look,
credit there.
It's fair to ask, I suppose, but I think my answer in terms of is there any regression going on?
Well, regression, and I think there is a regression in terms of like quarterback play in the passing game from what we have seen.
If you go game to game though, and you talk in terms of regression, game to game, week to week in college football or the NFL, like you just can't play that game. Like, you take wins when you can, especially in conference play. Sometimes they're ugly and you win. Like, you take that.
When you're an old O-line coach, you're not afraid to take wins.
I'm an old ball coach. I don't think they've regressed that much, but I think that, like, I sound like a jerk when I say things like this. I don't think they were as good as a lot of Lobo fans thought they were either.
Yeah, and I think we've had games where they've ran the ball amazing. We've had games where they had they were kind of given a dynamic passing attack by the defense and all that. When in reality, we probably should have kind of held course on some takes and said, look, this team is a receiver short from having a truly dynamic passing attack and all that.
Yeah. Like, look, this is not a team that's projected to go 8 and 4, like we saw on social media this week. Like, this is not that team. That they're not projected to go 8 and 4. This is a team that's still working their ass off each week to try and get wins against even the Nevadas of the league. And if they keep doing that, they're going to get 2 more and be in a bowl game. But this isn't a team that can like coast and put it in cruise control to beat a Nevada. They're not that good. This is not a New Mexico team good enough to cruise control win over any opponent in the league on their schedule this year, and that was clear even against their FCS opponent.
And not to play the point differential game, like I did say earlier this week, like I thought UNM is like closer to Nevada than they are Boise State and all that, and like the scores obviously are convenient in that regard, but like even if it was like a 10-point winner and all that, I would still say the same with what I saw tonight. So.
How about from the guy who has been up since 5:05 a.m., starting the tailgate prep at 5:05 a.m., Luis Trujillo, the red sombrero guy, saying a win is a win is a win. And that's I
have a feeling we're gonna have that feeling on another one of these post-game shows this year. A win is a win is a win.
Is a win is a win.
Is a win is a win is a win.
I agree. All right. Casa del Verde Entertainment is in on YouTube. The missed field goal sure looked good from both angles the Fox showed. Why can't they put a camera in the crossbar and make those reviewable? They probably can. I guess I don't know the specific answer to that.
Neither do I.
Can they?
I guess we'll have to find out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just really like a crisp Mountain Dew.
You gave me a bunch of crap for when I drank all those hot chocolates that one night, and now you're out here crushing Mountain Dews.
Mountain Dew, get out your boy.
How? Crushing Dews with grammar. Welcome back.
Crushing Dews with
brother.
Crushing Dews with the Grand Man.
We're not crushing brews. We're crushing Dews.
I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Pay your dues, crush your dew.
Steven is in saying, not complaining at all, but curious if you know why Scott Ray got the start. and lead workload when it was clear the last few games that Bankston had taken the lead running back role.
I asked about it. It was a little bit more of a split earlier, and they felt that Scott Stray had the hot hand and all that. And this is something that we
talked about this on Tuesday too, though. Like I said, this is a kind of game you try and get Scott Stray going because you are going to need him this year.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was. I don't think it was as intentional as that. Yeah. I would be shocked if there was not a world where they were like, all right, like we need to see like what Scott Trey's given us tonight and all that. And like I don't think there was any hesitation to ride the hot hand there and make that kind of happen in some regards because I had to get him going. And they mostly did. And obviously Scott Trey had the huge, conversion late. That's that's a huge play on his part. This does. I do want to write about this a little bit. Because McKinney gave a solid answer to it tonight, but I want to talk to the rest of the backs. The idea of you have this talented running back room, and you do naturally have to balance some egos there, and it is a little weird when it's no football coach is going to, well, at least in this offense, is going to be like, all right, like it's Damon's week, all right, it's Scott Trey's week, all right, it's Day-Day's week, like it's how does that kind of work in terms of playing out in the game itself of riding the hot hand and balancing that stuff. So. John Johnson is the running backs coach here. He's a good dude to talk to, so I will probably be talking to him this week about that whole thing.
Stephen Harris, why is Olin so secretive? Makes me think they're not that good. Look, the couple times I've seen them, and it's only been a couple. They look really good. I think they're going to be pretty good. Why he's so secretive? I don't know. Like I just don't know. It is the like it or not, it is the least amount of access that Lobo basketball has had in any of my time here heading into a season.
It's an anomaly in some ways, too, for coaches to not be secretive as well. Coaches are the most paranoid people on the face of the planet. Football coaches a bit more than basketball coaches, I'd say, but still.
I think that's accurate, but I also think that at New Mexico, where you need the Lobo basketball team and you need the season ticket base to get excited going into a season, it is unusual that there's – look, I'm the guy writing the story, so I guarantee you I know the numbers. This is the least amount of Lobo basketball coverage that we've been able to put out there going into a season. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. All right. J-Hove. Has Jack hit his ceiling? I love his decisions, but his past mechanics are challenging. What do you think? What do you think about his mechanics? Are his mechanics challenging?
I think he has slightly smoother mechanics than Lobstein.
Yeah, I don't think Lobstein's look. We haven't seen enough of Lobstein. We've seen glimpses of Lobstein.
We haven't seen enough of Lobstein in games. You've seen a lot in practice. Like I'm going to say that.
I'm going to say all the fans that are calling for the quarterback change. There's the practices like you. And the coaches.
I'm at the practices.
I know. I'm not
crushing dudes.
I'm not at practices. So, anyway,
what if we get you out to? Oh man, what if we get you out of practice?
Look, there's a reason that they went with Jack. There's a reason. Like I think Lobstein's going to get more run every game the rest of the year. But to this point, they've stuck with Jack for a reason, and I think it's because they think he provides a more complete opportunity at the quarterback position right now than with Lobstein.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what they said.
I think their playbook is more open with Jack right now than it would be with Lobstein. Is what they're saying.
Even if Lobstein, would give you probably more of a rushing threat than what you saw, even more of a rushing threat than what you saw tonight with Jack and all that. But I do think it's they are kind of we saw it tonight. Like they know, like okay, we need to get to some packages with James and all that, and make things happen there. Like the low red zone stuff when they're like the 7 and they put him in. It happened. So
thoughts on the Bankston fumble? Looked like his elbow was down. It didn't just look like it looked like all kinds of. I thought it was down. I thought the replay showed it was down too. So I'm a little surprised by that one. Bronco would have punted on 4th down. I think that's probably fair to say too.
Nothing. Look, punt to win. Shout out Iowa. Big win today, 25-24.
Wow. Lobo Fish on YouTube is saying his Lane's shoulder hurt. Passes are not looking tight and crisp like the first 4 games. Go Lobos.
I will talk to him. Like I can ask him.
I'm a little.
I don't think it's hurt.
Yeah,
I think we're reading a little too deep. Right?
I got to admit that maybe I just didn't notice the mechanics issues as a couple posters have, and I just guess
it's looked like normal Jack Lane that I've seen. In my time covering him and watching him at practice tonight and all that, it just wasn't an outstanding version.
Juan is in on YouTube. Ugly win, but they ain't all 10s.
I love that. They ain't all 10s. Juan, shout out. I like that a lot.
I ain't never had a 10, but I sure had 5 2s.
You had you've had 10 Mountain Dews tonight.
If they had 10 dues, how could they not call that field goal good? Shaking my head. I don't know.
Whoa, you know the lingo? The shaking my head? You know
SMH, come on.
You know
man.
the lingo? I didn't know that.
Oh, man.
I didn't know that.
Look.
Whoa.
I have a teenage daughter.
Whoa. Okay.
I have Google Translate.
I would say next week, beats. They're gonna be fired up to beat the old coach. Eck made this point tonight. We're gonna talk. I don't think we need to vote a whole lot of the post game this because we're gonna talk about a lot on Tuesday and we're gonna talk about a lot on Saturday and all that. Eck said he's like, and this is a question I wanted to ask in the Tuesday conference and but I mean he made the point that I thought he was going to make. He's like, we got like 75 new guys. Like, I don't think a lot of guys even know who the head coach was here last year in a lot of respects. And I think there will be some guys that are going to be fired up to beat the whole coach, but I don't know if that's going to be the overwhelming feeling.
So you don't know this because you did your post game and then you came back up to the press box and you're wrapping up stuff. You have not seen the social media in locker room video.
Oh, what'd they say?
X said next week we got a game that is basically kind of like we're standing up for Albuquerque kind of game. Like this is big to Albuquerque next week. Like he kind of made it more.
I think that still stands with it's not being as big to some guys on the team.
No, that's right. He said this game is important to Albuquerque.
But it's smart of him to do that, especially on camera when it's this is important to the fans. So
this game means something to Albuquerque. All right, Richie.
Oh, man, I can't believe it's a week away. That's crazy.
No more PTO, sadly, so I'll be cheering from work next week against Utah.
Richie.
Geoff, you're going to be at Mountain West Media Days this week. I will be. I will be in Vegas on getting there Wednesday. I'll be there Thursday for Mountain West Media Days. I will be in Spokane after that, and I will be at the Washington State exhibition game next Saturday. There is I'm guessing about a 90-minute window from when Sean is done with his post-game stuff to when I need to be starting to cover the 7 o'clock exhibition game, 7 o'clock Mountain Time exhibition, 6 o'clock Pacific.
It's a 1 p.m. kick for UNM next week, by the way.
I think there's going to be about at least an hour and a half window where we can do a post-football game show / pre-basketball game show, and there is no coverage of that basketball game other than what you will get by yours truly of the Albuquerque Journal. And
is that a threat?
Yeah. So you watch out. There will be no radio coverage of it, and there will be no broadcast of it. Maybe I will bring the old webcam that's doing its what is this called? The Joven angle?
The Dutch oven angle? The Dutch angle.
The
Dutch
I'm not familiar.
angle.
I'm not familiar with that.
A Dutch angle.
Geoff, with the great football program, could that and our NIL ever rise to the Big 12 or new Pac-12? Are we Mountain West shackled forever? So here's the reset button on all that. Fernando Lovo has made clear around here in with the community and the business owners of the community that he's asking for support from. There's a 2030 deadline in his mind to get this program in as good a shape as it can to see what happens at the next round of TV negotiations and media rights. And he says that's 2030. Can it get there? Yeah, I think it can. I mean, first of all, I don't think the Pac-12 is at all what they thought it was going to be. So if UNM gets football just a little bit better, yeah, it's already a Pac-12 level program. But I also don't know that the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are going to be so far apart that there might not in this current cycle be a merger, but like these are two non-power conferences. The Pac-12 is going to be not even close to a Power 4 conference, and the Mountain West isn't going to be close to a Power 4 conference. Come 2030, talk to me in 4 or 5 years when there's a new round of media rights negotiations. Let's see if the Pac-12 is what it is, if the Mountain West is what it is, if a merger is what it is, if the Big 12 is looking for a few more schools because some of their schools get poached. I just think that we got 4 or 5 years to see if New Mexico football can get things right.
ACC Mountain West merger?
No, let's not talk like that.
Okay.
A dream is Pavia getting one more. One more year of eligibility. You got a second.
Well, he said he's not gonna.
And transfer to
UNM. What a turn that would be. He said he's not going to use his even though his lawyers have kind of indicated they're going to go after a little bit. He said he doesn't want to take another year. This is going to be his last year.
I'll point out too his post-game conference or interview today before he was then later saying he can't do interviews. His post-game,
I said, not again.
Yeah, not again. The last time he couldn't do media was when his post-game on-field interview today said that in the last few weeks he hadn't been chasing God like he should be, and God humbled him. So some of the stuff he's been talking about the last few weeks,
God came in the bore.
He said God humbled him. That's what he said. I'm just saying that like some of the stuff he has said the last few weeks, he today kind of said I wasn't in the right mind space. Maybe he is reconsidering things like maybe I don't go chase whatever I said I was going to chase. Maybe I do come back for college. Because it was only in recent weeks when the court thing came out and he said I'm not coming back. Now maybe he's thinking, maybe I come back.
Vandy, we turn.
Joshua's back in. Do you think 3 head monster at running back is an attempt to retain the running back room to the transfer portal?
I don't. I genuinely do believe that they like, hey, like this is a good look for Bankston here. This is a good look for Scottra here. I think they want to get the most out of the skill sets and all that too. But it is interesting, right? Because you always feel like you're going to have an odd man out, especially with all these guys that were 1,000-yard rushers. Last season, like all that, with only 2 of them, but they were all leading rushers at their respective schools. So. I want to write about it further. I think we're at a really interesting point with it, and I want to talk to more guys about it. But I don't think it's a overt attempt in that regard.
G Wade in and is saying, I think the Lobo football offense. The Lobo offense still have passing upside with running backs Bankston, Buchanan, and McKinney specifically.
They do, but I think they need a better floor with the receivers. It sounds like, and I feel like. To a certain degree, I would still even almost want to see some more out of Dorian Thomas at this point, right? Like honestly, I feel like do they have a worse floor? No, but truly right now they have like 1 receiver, and that's getting difficult.
Yeah. Stephen Harris is saying, yeah, Geoff, I think that's super concerning. This back to basketball. I'm not sure Olin understands what is in his hands. Him not being at the games. And in the community is concerning.
I think he's been to some football games.
He's been to some football games. So there was a scrimmage this morning that
huge win for the Tide, by the way. His Tide, 3rd Saturday in October, took care of business.
Lobo basketball had a scrimmage open to some people this morning. I guess it wasn't open to the media though, but some people have seen a whole lot more of the Lobos than I have. So he's letting some people watch. I just don't know. I don't understand why it's not the media, and I don't understand why UNM apparently is okay with not building any kind of excitement or much excitement. That look, they've let me have players the last 2 weeks. It just seems I guess that's over.
Rat poison, grammar. Rat poison.
That's all rat poison. That field goal, Pat B is saying, was good. Even the commentators called it good and were surprised. I will say this about the commentators. They were not in Albuquerque.
We were joking about the idea of some diehard Mountain West guy sitting in his apartment in the dark, and he's like, whoa, that's Petros Papadakis again?
So the announcing crew, for those that don't know, for those scoring at home, the announcing crew that did the UNLV Boise State game today and did a lot of going in from halftime and at the end of the game and all the live shots they do with the Boise State stadium behind them, that was a green screen, and they were in a studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They also didn't hop on a plane and get from Boise to Albuquerque in a couple hours to call tonight's games. Same broadcast crew did the UNLV at Boise State game.
Petros Papadakis.
Yeah, same broadcast team that did the UNLV at Boise State game did tonight's Nevada at New Mexico game. I asked between games, does a remote broadcast crew change ties?
One did,
one did not. So at least one of them changed ties to kind of make it look like a different broadcast team. But yeah, they were remote. There was somebody in the press box sitting in the same room as us during the game who had a headset on like this, basically feeding them all the spotter information. So if there's a 10-second delay from what happens live to what you guys see on TV watching from home, there's somebody already feeding them before the next play happens, because they're watching on TV just like you guys, but they know what's coming up. So if they sounded really smart on a couple plays, it's because they're getting fed about 10 seconds before they see it on TV. Oh, that's a first down.
I get that scheduling does not work out in particular, especially when you want to devote certain crews to certain games and all that. That's BS. Send your guys. Send guys to games, man.
Because there's local crews that can do it and do just as good as they did tonight.
Send guys or pull local crews. It's BS. Just have your crew on the ground. I think we're all over it. We get it happening, COVID and all that. That's not been a good holdover of that kind of era.
So we were catfish?
That's one way to put it. Catfish by Petros Papadakis.
Let's just be grateful that BJ Raines wasn't calling the game. Surely.
BJ, like
BJ catching strays here. Like,
what? Oh, BJ.
We're pro BJ Raines on this show, all right?
Yeah, BJ is a friend of the program. BJ, yeah, shout out BJ.
All right, so that
what does BJ stand for? Do you know? How can we be BJ supporters and not know what it stands for? Bernard, like. Okay. All right. Okay.
It is 1:18 a.m. and Sean is asking what BJ stands for. Let's
Mountain West After Dark.
All right, let's look ahead. Let's spin ahead a little bit. We're not going to dive, like you said, too deep into Utah State because the whole week's going to be a lot of build up on that.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff on that.
Let's I know we haven't done yet.
Do you want to run through some Mountain West scores?
Yes, I do.
Yay! I don't know why I did that. God, Hugh Freeze was so giddy after that missed field goal in the Mizzou game. That was cracking me up. Oh, man, that was so funny. He was so giddy. Okay. Whoa.
What's up, guys?
What do we got?
Trying to pull this little share screen option on, and I'm on the wrong screen.
Fun fact from tonight's game, A. D. Thomas led both teams in receiving yards tonight.
Yeah, it's a fact. But a fun one.
All right, man. All right, we'll go to Friday night's game at the Mav. It was a pretty good atmosphere. Utah State sealing that one late, 30-25 over San Jose State.
There we go.
That's brutal for San Jose State, man. I saw San Jose State account, put this kind of thought out to the world on social media last night. Like, regardless of if they win out, this is still one of the most disappointing seasons in San Jose State football history. And I'm not inclined to disagree, man.
They've had some pretty disappointing seasons.
But this one, like, because I was giving out that pick all summer, like, hey, San Jose State over, like, take that. They're going to start like 4-0 or they're going to lose to Texas, and that's about it. And
you really nailed it, didn't you?
Right on the mark.
I do want to give credit where credit is due. This is ESPN site that I always go to with the scores.
Yeah.
In case you guys didn't know.
And Utah State, 4-3, 2-1 in the Mountain West. Defensively,
and look, we talked about
this
earlier.
They did some nice things yesterday,
and that was a hell of an environment they had last night.
They had a good outing. Mav looked good.
Mav.
That's a pretty cool stadium too. Not a great press box in terms of the angle is a little weird, but obviously
they got that press box at the Dutch angle.
You have to crane your head over to see what's happening on the close sideline.
A little bit of a Dutch angle.
But really disappointing stuff for San Jose State, man. They're gonna have to fight their tails off to make a bowl game now, and it just feels like kind of a waste.
All right, so obviously we got the Nevada-New Mexico game. Let's look at these other three Mountain West games.
Wyoming had the score late to make this one look a little bit better.
Air Force is a really, really good offensive team.
So good.
Hit that subscribe button or follow us for hot takes like this all season. They're good.
This might have been this might have been the lowest points they've scored all season, I think.
UNLV getting blown out at Boise State. You could see coming. You could see that coming though. You could see that coming for weeks.
It was interesting. Like I was like, this is like because like national people,
because they were fraudulent 6-0.
National people like on podcasts listen to like this was the obligatory. Hey, a big game in the Mountain West and all that. And I heard some. I'm not going to name names, but a couple national. One national person in mind comes to mind where they're like, I just have such a hard time seeing, Boise State covering here. And in my head, I was like, I don't know.
You do that in your head?
In my head,
you laugh like that in your head?
I don't know. It's just like it's just a bunch of Mountain Dew cans rattling around,
all hopped up on Mountain Dew in your head.
Yeah,
a lot of Dan Mullen love from the national media.
He's a likable guy.
He's a likable guy, and I get he was a national name. He hasn't. He's done fine. I'll leave it at that. He's done fine, but like there was no way
6-0 at UNLV is fine.
They weren't a fraudulent 6-0. They were 6-0. Boise State was clearly the best team in the league coming into this game.
Yeah, and they solidified it. Absolutely. Good stuff on Boise State's part.
So this one, with
good uniform matchup too.
I thought Hawaii would win, and they did. They went on the road and they beat Colorado State 31-19. That's what they should do. They're a better team than Colorado State, and they went and won by double digits on the road.
Good for Hawaii locking up the bull bid, making that happen. First winner, Timmy Chang.
They will be in the Hawaii.
They absolutely got something with the Tokyo Toe, Mike Alejado. They're a cool team, cool story, and this is that's what Hawaii football should be, man. It's just cool. They're going to be in the Hawaii Bowl, pretty much guaranteed.
Stu Gotts is strong in you. You a lot of nicknames, a lot of dropping of nicknames.
Okay. All right. Was there another Mountain West game?
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah. 5 games.
5
games
how
this week.
about
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I want to go outside conference action. I want to shout out North Texas. Great bounce back win today. Really good stuff. And now the American's going to get a little bit interesting because Memphis took an unexpected loss today to UAB.
You okay? Your American took a really bad loss today.
And then USF, I think USF and Memphis next week. That's going to be really interesting if Memphis bounce back and deals USF a loss there. So
my 6-year-old went to a.
I think that's next week.
My 6-year-old went to a Halloween event today.
I may or may not have boots on the ground for a critical American game coming up in the next couple weeks.
One of the things she did at the Halloween event,
just want to preview.
They you could put a blindfold on, or maybe just look away and kind of stick your hand in to feel. They felt like a witch's finger. They felt a couple gross things. One thing they felt: eyeballs. You know what they were? Grapes.
Okay. There's a story here that kind of similar to that I don't think I should tell.
Brandon J. Rains. I don't know. I cannot confirm that.
Well, we got the B, but what about the J?
It's J. Just J.
That is actually my dad's middle name. It's just J, like Jay. J.
But Jay isn't just J.
Jesus, don't get me. Jesus Christ. What the hell's wrong with you?
The Colorado State Hawaii game was not on the islands.
Still wondering why Fresno laid an egg last week against CSU. Yeah, this is a league that
week to week.
Boise State's going to be in the Mountain West Championship. Who's going to join them there?
Why? I mean, I joke, but do I? No, at this point, San Diego State.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I was teeing that up like it's what I'm going to stump grammar, and that was not a critical. That was no. That'll be. I don't. Does Boise play San Diego State in the regular season?
You're not getting one by me when I'm on this many Mountain Dews. I'm on top of my game.
It's like what's that movie? Limitless. Oh, they do. So November 15th, Boise State plays San Diego State at Snapdragon with that dynamite turf
at the snap.
At the snap. What's
like a West Side Story?
No. It's that Norm Macdonald. That Norm Macdonal West Side Story parody or whatever. Yes. It's like cougars. It's like guys, like
1 hour and 12 minutes into the show, and this is where we're at. I do think we're gonna kind of wind it down here.
Yeah,
sorry guys.
Let's spin it forward, as my friend Geoff Kramer often says,
or put a bow on it. Spin it forward. Let's do it. I do think that the big takeaway tonight will be, in my mind, we just got asked, how did Fresno State lay an egg that bad at Colorado State last week? It's because these games happen throughout the year. I don't think winning ugly should be anything that people should be overly concerned about for New Mexico football, because this was they're ahead of schedule.
I think there's aspects that you can be concerned by, but I agree with your general sentiment,
because it was a recalibration of the program. If they ended up with 4 wins this season, there was a way that people could still be like, oh, they had a good season. Now they're at 4 wins through 7 games, and people are like,
what was that?
I think everyone should take a step back and realize you win some ugly games, and that's okay. I don't think there's regression.
Grammar's going to make a weird cat noise, and then you say, everybody, please take a step back. Please take a step back. No, I agree with you.
Why the cat noise?
It was like a weird. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think this is absolutely a team that is comfortable winning ugly, that understands that there is some value in winning ugly and being a team that can pride themselves on winning ugly. But I think they got to clean some things up. And I think they're, I think the element that they are kind of a receiver short right now, and that, The receiver short, and there's some other offensive stuff that they got to clean up, and a couple defensive stuff they got to clean up as well too. That we'll bite them for sure down the road.
This is a team that's gonna whatever 2 wins or 3, or more, maybe more, but whatever the 2 wins that I think they're gonna get to get to bowl eligibility, they're gonna have to figure out a way to win that week. It's not gonna be because they can just like do what they do. Like, no, like they're going to have to figure out how to beat Nevada like they did tonight. They're going to have to figure out how to beat Colorado State. They're going to have to figure out how to beat Air Force or Utah State. Those are the 3 that I think are the options, right? So they're going to have to figure it out.
So Utah State, Air Force, and Colorado State?
Yeah, those are the 3 that I think they need to go 2-1 in those 3 to get to a bowl game.
Yeah, and
they're not. I just don't think they're beating San Diego State, and as vulnerable as UNLV is, I don't see them beating UNLV.
I wrote one of the takes. I don't know how much momentum UNM still has left from the 3-1 start.
Right,
with the pinnacle, the momentum of just like the program hasn't had it in so long. I don't even know if they had it in like 2016, 2015. Well, 2015 beating Boise, that's a pretty big momentum booster. But like that momentum, that electric atmosphere, everything there, like everything kind of going their way. I don't know how much of that momentum they still have left. But they did take care of business. That's a step in the right direction. That gives you something. Do you think a win over Utah State would kind of it's the momentum is back? Like you are 1 win away from a bowl.
Yeah.
That's how I'm kind of feeling about it too.
So
I think if you lose that one, I don't know if it's quite, because I was saying this too. We talked about it, right? I don't know if I felt that this game was like the must win. This is the season, but it really was you really gotta have this one, because I still felt they could drop this game and still make a bowl. Frankly, it just got tougher.
Here's the thing I think about the Utah State game next week, and I think Utah State probably, I mean, they're going to be favored. I think on the road, Utah State will be favored. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. At this point, I'm comfortable saying Utah State's going to be favored coming in here, even on the road.
I think it's a thin favorite, but yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, less than a touchdown for sure. But yeah, I mean, 4 points.
You think they're going to be – oh, yeah, never mind. I misheard what you were saying.
I think Utah State will be favored by 4 points coming in.
2.5. Lock it in. That's my prediction.
4.5.
Watch it be 3.
Watch it.
3.5.
It's going to cover a wide variety of numbers here. I don't know that they beat Utah State, but I'll tell you what, if they do beat Utah State and they're 1 win away from bowl eligibility, I think they'll average 20,000 fans this year because, as I pointed out during the game, they need to average a little under 16,000 for their final 3 games. If they average that, their season average is going to be 20,000 per game.
Haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Like they still got a lot in front of them, and I think they're doing good things. So
yeah, and I think that's doable in the sense that if things go the way they probably should, that San Diego State game, that Black Friday game, should not be that hard of a sell as it has been in recent years and all that too. So interesting times ahead. One ugly today, but things are still on schedule, if not ahead of schedule. So
ABQJournal.com. Check out all our coverage there and all Sean's wonderful writing there about Lobo football. And we'll be back on Tuesday.
Whether you like it or not. We keep coming back.
That's our motto. We're here.
Thank you to everybody that tuned in at a really late hour and stuck through it with us on this one. We're getting kicked out now, but yeah. Oh, Frank.
Look, there he is.
Go home.
Do you want? Yeah. Yeah.
We're going home now.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Always good to talk to you guys.
Home,
so
but you can't stay here.
We could stay here. Hang out, drink some dews.